Hi guys, welcome back to 100% Mags. I've got to say, the game has just ended there down at Stamford Bridge, and it's not the result that I thought we would come away from this game with. I've got to say, um, I'm very, very disappointed. Very disappointed. Not in the performance of the lads. Trippier, of course, again, unfortunately, making another mistake. What's that now? 3 mistakes Trippier's made. Fair enough, he's got credit in the bank for what he's done coming into the club, but I think something definitely needs to be done there. Trippier definitely needs to be thinking, you know, a little bit harder in moments like that. I mean, he could have clearly headed that away. So it was an unnecessary moment in the game, that we had to deal with. And not to put the entire blame at the door of Kieran Trippier on this one, of course, because that was just one of the moments in the game, that changed the outcome of the game. But in the first half, there was a moment very early on in the first half of the game which could have completely changed the game altogether. And that was when Caicedo of Chelsea went through the back of Gordon, stood up right down the back of the calf of Gordon, down his left leg, I believe it was. And if VAR had been in operation tonight, Chelsea would have been saying Caicedo giving his marching orders in that game. We would have probably also seen another Chelsea player going off in the game as well. In, of course, Colwell, I believe it is, who went and did a stamp a little bit further into the game as well. But the way that game played out, we did not deserve to be coming away from that game on the end of a loss. I've got to tell you right now, I am absolutely livid with the way that game has played out, because once again, we are on the end of a very controversial moment. It is not the first time this season that Newcastle have been involved in controversial moments against us in the game. We're seeing it with the game against PSG in the Champions League at their ground, a controversial moment, cost them with a result in that game. And again, tonight has been another similar situation. Yes, Kieran Trippier made a mistake, which he's got to own up to that, and I'm sure he will, because Kieran Trippier's an absolute professional at the end of the day. He will own up to making that mistake. He should have just cleared it away. But to lose a match what we pretty much dominated, let's say, to be honest, we really did dominate that game tonight. Chelsea just looked absolutely crap. They just weren't anywhere near good enough to be able to come away from the result, from the game with a result, in their favour. So they got very, very lucky that Trippier did make that mistake in the game. And of course, Mudryk, of all people, to pick up the goal in the game as well. It's just absolutely just typical, that would be him that scores. I say James Griffiths put a comment down in the comments below, of course, in the live chat there. New to the channel, I think. I'm not sure. I haven't seen him around here before, but welcome to the channel if you are new around here, James. That was all on trips. I've got to agree in a way, Trippier should have really just cleared that away. But like I say, earlier in the match, there was a moment where the referee could have made decisions where he did see them as well. Let's not forget, he did see them. There's plenty of footage there showing that he did see what Caicedo did in the game. Even the linesman seen it, and they just completely ignored it. But I'm sure Chelsea fans are probably tuning into this live stream, expecting to see somebody raging and having a good rant towards how that game played out. But in the past, I would have done that. But now I know that, the lads will come back from this. I know that the lads will put in an effort in the next game. And I know that the lads will make up for what has happened in this game tonight, because at the end of the day, this was a chance for us to make it through to the semi-finals, and a very good chance as well. The other game that played tonight, of course, there was 2 other games Middlesbrough went through 3-0 winners against Port Vale, and Everton and Fulham were playing at Goodison Park, and Fulham went through 7-6 on penalties in that game. So this was a massive chance, for us to make it through to the semi-finals and have a chance to then take on either Everton, Fulham, Middlesbrough, or whoever wins in the game tomorrow night, of course, which was Liverpool, West Ham. But that's all just a distant memory now to us, because we're out of the cup, and undeservingly out of the cup as well, because we did not deserve to lose that game tonight at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea. We put in an absolutely amazing performance in that game tonight, and then that one small little mistake by Kieran Trippier, just cost us that 1-0 lead that we had. Looking at the stats in the game, we had plenty of shots in the game. We had plenty of shots on target in the game as well. But according to a few websites, they're trying to say that, Chelsea had a lot of the possession in the game. But it's just one of them things where it's now going to be, etched into the history books. It'll be forgotten and we'll move on, because that's all you can do. That's football at the end of the day. Once that whistle blows, that is it. The game's done, it's finished, it's over, and we move on to the next game. And that is all we can do as football fans. That is all the players can do, unfortunately. And all they've got to do now is come out in the next game and show, that was a performance, that just doesn't happen with our club. We're looking at some of the comments again in the live chat. We've got Raza Artis there was at the pub. We were hanging on for 70 odd minutes, and it was only going to take one error to do us in. Good and worried about Trips mentally after that error and his miss. And again, exactly like you just said there, mate. Absolutely good about Trippier mentally, because this is now, like I've said, 3 times now that Trippier has, done something like this. So he needs to, I think, either be given a rest. He's had a chance to have a bit of a rest because he didn't get to play in the last league game that we played before coming into this cup game. But he needs to do something, because there's something not right at this moment in time. We know Trippier's not like this. We know Trippier doesn't make mistakes like this. And since he's come into the club, we know for a fact that he doesn't do this. He's an utmost professional. He's always, given 110% for Newcastle. Every single time he's put out on, a Newcastle shirt, he's always give 110% for us. He's always put everything out there on the line for it. So clearly there's something going on right now. Whatever it is, I hope Kieran Trippier gets it sorted out, because he definitely needs something, to help with whatever he's going through, because it's clear that there's something not right with Kieran Trippier right now. Jessica Noble, again, in the chat, moderating the chat, doing a good job as always. Well, that was a terrible game. Eddie Howe, I'm sorry, you're joking there, Jessica, on that one. I'm definitely not Eddie Howe. No way, no how. I know, no pun intended there, of course. But I know Eddie, will do everything to get the lads firing on all cylinders. This game, tonight is not going to change my opinion on Eddie Howe. It's not going to change my opinion on any of the lads. At the end of the day, we had a chance to make it through, to the semi-finals. We didn't do it, and we now have to move on, take it on the chin, as to say, and move on to the next game. Raza, again, in the chat, just a threadbare squad, and we're physically and mentally worn out. Exactly. That's what it is. With so many injuries right now, there's players coming back, but, not enough of them are coming back to help, the team go forward. There's not enough coming back into the team to help the team go forward. And even when players are coming back, we're seeing other players go out, like at the weekend against Fulham, we're seeing, Botman coming back into the squad. Then we're seeing Shaw getting a problem in the game against Fulham. You know, then we're seeing Joe Linton also getting a problem in the game against Fulham as well. But it's just one of them things at the moment. And Ryan Henson says can't blame injuries down in the comments. But at the end of the day, look at the injuries we've got. You know, it's clear, plain as day for everybody to see. You know, we see Man United complain about their injuries. We see Chelsea complain about their injuries. We see Arsenal, Liverpool, you know, Man City. We see all these teams complain about their injuries. But as soon as us, Newcastle United, the little wee club in the northeast, as Sir Alex Ferguson used to call it, you know, are complaining about injuries, we get told you can't complain about injuries. Well, if it's good enough for the likes of Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man U, Liverpool, Tottenham, and all of them other clubs to complain about injuries, and it's all right for us to complain about fucking injuries, because we've got the most injuries out of anybody in the Premier League. We've got the most injuries out of any single team right now, and we have first team players that are out because of the inept refereeing abilities like we have seen tonight in that game. That kind of foul that Caicedo has done tonight is exactly why we have so many injuries, because the referees allow that to continue in this game. There's no room for that in this game in this day and age. In the past, fair enough, 70s, 60s, what have you, you can do it all you like. But in this game right now, in this decade right now, you should not be seeing a player going in studs down the back of the leg of a player and being allowed to get away with it. It's absolutely beyond a joke. And I know that that's probably been there to trigger a response, but I don't give a goddamn crap, because at the end of the day, we have injuries, and it's clear to see that that is affecting our ability to be able to, you know, go into these games and pick up the wins and seal the wins as well. But even saying that, you know, we've seen the games where we do have injuries, and we've seen we'll beat the likes of Man City, Man United, you know, we've beaten Arsenal as well. We've beaten these teams even with injuries. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's just going to be another one of them things where we've just got to take it on the chin, move on, and we'll see what happens in the next game coming up. But I mean, to literally come out and say that you can't blame injuries, that is absolutely beyond a joke and absolutely, you know, unfair at the end of the day, because everybody else is allowed to complain about their injuries. So why can't we? Well, we're not allowed to complain about them because we've got so much more money than everybody else. Well, here's a little news flash for everybody out there who wants to harper on about the money side of things. We haven't even spent the money yet. We haven't been allowed to spend the amount of money what we have at our disposal, because we don't have the FFP for it. And why we don't have the FFP for it is clearly down to the fact that there's been barriers put in place by these said clubs to stop people from getting in there, to cheat their way in there, or as people are calling it, cheating. Well, it's not cheating really, because all it is just having a bigger financial ability to be able to go out there and buy players. But clubs like Man United don't like that, because they don't have that ability to do that. Clubs like Liverpool don't like that, because they don't have the ability. Arsenal's the same. You know, they don't have the ability neither. So at the end of the day, it's just all a bunch of bullshit, a bunch of greedy little clubs trying to hold on to what they have right now. But whether you like it or not, Newcastle United is coming. We will have that amount of money in FFP eventually at some point. And when we do, you will see what Newcastle United is all about. You will see what our club is all about. And you've already been seeing it last season. You've been seeing it this season as well. And you will see it in the years ahead. Newcastle United is coming for the Premier League title. Newcastle United is coming for the League Cup title. Newcastle United is coming for the FA Cup. We are coming for the Champions League. And we will win the goddamn fucking lot, because we are Newcastle United, and we will win it when we damn well fucking please. and you will sit there and you will like it, because at the end of the day, we are Newcastle United. We've got more money than everybody else, and whether you like it or not, we will be dominating football for the next 10, 30, whatever amount of years. So that's my 2 cents. Let us know what you think, of course, down in the comments below. Rant over, and we'll move on to the next game. However, lads.